Can you bring up the website that you built? I would love to see what you built and what kinds of details are there.
Essentially, within 60 minutes, I was able to build a website that had a list of prompt templates, and people could go in and rate these templates. And if people want, they could create an account and add additional templates, and they could also go in and search these prompt templates.
When you go to Replit, it was basically doing okay, this is an agent. So within the agent, what are all the things you do? And you have another chat. So if you're stuck with something, you can use the chat to ask questions.
Yes.
This made it even more simpler than that. Chat, agent, everything is the same. So it made it much more human friendly.
So looks like you also tried to build a website using a GenAI app. So what is it? Give us the details. I like the UI. This is really, really good. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast, Everything Product. So we talk about latest technology and product management concepts. I am Sid Saladi.
Hi, everyone. This is Funny Uyuru.
Today, we're going to talk about an age-old problem in product management, which is the chicken and egg problem. So as an aspiring product manager, right, if you want to get into product management, you need product management experience, and companies are basically only looking at candidates who have gotten some experience in product management. And for you to get product management experience, you have to have gotten a job to do the role. That's the chicken and egg problem here, right? And traditionally, anybody you ask, how do I get an experience of product management, people tend to point you towards doing side projects or doing extended work within your company. But building side projects is not that easy, right? Sometimes when you want to build something, you could ideally go back to building these using some website builder, but that is still some effort and it's not that customizable. But now with AI, things have changed. So I think we both had our own AI wow moments in building prototypes. Funny. So maybe let's what was your experience building projects before and after?
Yeah, sure, Sidhu. So, I can totally relate to this problem, right? During my MBA time, I also wanted to showcase that, hey, hi, I have a good product mindset. Obviously, we don't have a good product management experience at that time, but I want to showcase that I had a good product mindset. It was a struggle because I had to build some kind of a website on my own, some kind of a functionality showcasing all of the details and stuff. The one that I built at that time was very scrappy, looked very bad, but that is all I could do. And I was trying to do the very similar thing right now. Like, I wanted to build a website. We can go through the details, right? We can try to build a website for, let's say, our podcast today, and we can just use a couple of AI tools. Half an hour, I was very surprised. Half an hour, you'll have a fully functional website, everything available. Someone should be able to come and do anything on that website.
Yeah. And I think this is like, anybody who's aspiring to become a product manager, right? So now you're not limited to building website by through a website builder, which has minimum functionality, right? You have exposure to a lot of templates which you can use, but you could do only so much to customize whatever you're trying to build, right? But I think now with all of these AI tools, you are able to build prototypes much faster, get feedback, iterate. Actually, that's you being a product manager for your own product. And this is something which you can actually show and put it in your resume, so that people know that, okay, this person, even though they haven't actually done a real product management job, tried to do this through their side projects. So, and I'll maybe walk through my aha moment, Funny, and then I'll turn it over to you, and you can walk through your aha moment. So, back in December, right? So, I was actually trying to build a website for a prompt template. So, essentially, the problem is like there are so many prompts that could be used for product managers in different jobs they do. Initially created a document with 50 prompts and all, and the number of prompts was growing, and it was very hard for people to search for these prompts and apply these prompts. So I was thinking, should I maybe create a website for this so that people can easily find this, and also people could rate how the prompt performed, and if people wanted to also contribute to the community, they could add their own prompts. And essentially I wanted to make it a prompt marketplace for product managers. So I was like, okay, how do I build this? Then I went back to these traditional website builders. I didn't find any solution that fit my requirements. Then I think I was watching a video on YouTube. I think IC founder who built a company called Replit was basically talking about his product. So this is essentially an AI agent that helps you build web applications, right? So I went in and gave some of the requirements, and all of these requirements, I got this from essentially the PRD generator which I created, and I put that into Replit and then asked it to create a website. So essentially within 60 minutes I was able to build a website that had a list of prompt templates, and people could go in and rate these templates, and if people want they could create an account and add additional templates, and they could also go in and search these prompt templates. And all of this was, I was able to test it and then essentially also deploy it to production, where I got a URL where I could give it to users to test it out. So all of this just happened within 60 minutes.
No, that's very interesting, Sidhu. So that's a very good problem that you're solving, right? Can we start with the website that you actually built? Can you show us what is the website that you built, and then how you used Replit to like build it?
Okay, yeah, let me share my screen and okay, yeah, so this is the Replit account. So this is the website I built, right? So as I said, this, you can actually go in and search for templates, and let's say I can search for a product template, and you can see all of this, and you have categories also, and then you can rate, comment on the templates, and you can also go and create your template. And we
Wow.
have a sign in, sign up feature, and this is basically talking about templates and the power of community and essentially. So
I
all
have
of
a
this,
lot of questions on this actually. So
yeah,
let me start with this one, right? So basically, what I understand is this basically built a website. It gave you several call to actions. It enabled you to enable for your customers to come sign up, sign in. And then it also gave you like filtering functionality, tabular column functionality where you can show all the prompts and create it.
yeah.
Actually, let me start with the very first question. Like, let's say once you do this, how do you like connect to all the, because if someone is signing up, it should be going and storing the data somewhere.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
I think let me show you how this functions, and that will answer your question, Funny. So essentially, what we have here is, right. You could, it's as simple as it, right. So you could actually go here, start with a simple basic prompt of what you're trying to build, and then say start building. Once you say start building, right, what it does is it actually starts creating all of the folder structure, right, which is all your projects and all, which has the code, the front end, back end, and all of that. So once you do that, based on your requirements, the requirements you give, it'll actually create a database, a place. So it has database compute and all, where you can store this, and essentially it goes to the database to see, authenticate the users, their username, password, all of that. You would add all of that mechanism. So initially the basic template just gives you a UI frame, but as you see holes, as you do more QA, you can add more and more functionality. So initially when I created this, it was letting people to create templates without a account. Then I said, okay, that's not good, we need somebody who signs in and then creates an account. Then it basically was checking for people to sign in and then create an account and then add templates and so on and so forth. And so let me maybe also give you a quick tour of how this works, right? So as I said, you go and uh, enter what you want to build, then start building. So there is place where you can check your deployment. There is also uh, a place where you can check your resource usage. This is where all the storage, all of the compute, the time, the auto scaling, right? What storage are you using? What computer are you using? Is it a VM or a container? Essentially all of that is here, and it also gives you cost for each of these resources that is being used. And another very nice feature is, if you think you are in a roadblock where I'm not able to build something with the AI agent, you can also create bounties here. So essentially, when you create bounties, there are people who are wanting to help you. So these are developers who are freelancers who are wanting to help you. Essentially, right? So these tools will get you till some point, but essentially, if you want to make this a full-fledged website, you might need some help from external people, right? So that's where bounties will help. And sometimes you also want to build something other people built, right? So that's where templates will help you. So there are a lot of different templates where you can actually build your websites from. So yeah, and there's a bunch of documentation too. So I think overall, start with a prompt, start ask it what to build. Once you have the website, do the QA, test it out and see if it's meets your requirement. If not, you can keep prompting. And I think there's also um, an AI agent, so an AI assistant. So agent is actually helping you build the app, but assistant can help you decode any bugs in the code or add any additional functionality which the agent is not able to figure out.
Got it. Actually, let's start it, right? Let's do the same thing. Let's ask it, hey, I want to build a website for my podcast. Okay.
Okay.
Let's see what it does.
So I think
Probably give like some basic details like,
so let's do that, right? So
okay.
let's start building. It's actually thinking.
Hmm. Oh, it gave you a plan.
So yeah, it'll actually give you a plan, and it'll also ask you like, do you want to add any additional features to this or not? So I'd say, right, add episode categories. Um, Rest all, I think let's skip for now. Let's make it simple. So it'll actually start building your website. And you have a lot of options where you can roll back certain changes which you have done and all. So if you haven't liked the changes which it has done.
So basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make the developer's life easy.
Yeah.
And for anyone who is not a developer, also, they're trying to make it simple. But I mean, for someone who doesn't do anything, this is still to a certain extent overwhelming.
Yeah. So it actually started creating this schema, storage, different routes, the components, right? All of the front ends. So you can see all of that, right? So it's actually writing this and all. So it's good to see it actually writing this.
Yeah. If we actually hire a developer, it's gonna take forever for him to like debug through all of this, understand everything, and then change stuff.
So it's also creating a list of episodes, right? And there's also a theme which it created.
2,000 years later.
Oh, nice! It built it.
Yeah, so it's actually building it, right? So it built it. It has
Can
actually,
you open this in a new tab?
yeah. So I can actually open this because right. So yeah, it's built a basic website by categories, and essentially you could go in and
It
play
just pulls some random videos, basically.
yeah, some random videos and all.
Actually,
Like
can you try this out? Let's say that hey, my podcast is everything product. If you want, give the link also. Let's see if it pulls everything from that.
so it actually it says okay. So it you were asking, right? So does it connect to other apps and all? So it actually can connect to API data. So I think you have to give it the API key information and it will grab information from there.
There's still like developers have to do it. I have no idea how to get an API key.
Yeah. It's yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward. You can actually go to Google.
Oh, YouTube actually gives that?
Yeah, YouTube gives that. And yeah, it's something similar to API credits, right? So you can actually go to OpenAI and give an access key, get an access key, and then give it to Replit agent to use API. So yeah, I think pretty simple, right? So I think just to build this previously, I think it used to take a lot of time, but now you can actually build it just by prompting. And I think you can add more and more functionality. And I think the complex way of doing this is give the same product prompt in, you know, ChatGPT, ask it to generate a PRD, and you would actually give the PRD directly to Replit, and it'll actually, build you a more knowledgeable website with multiple different features.
Wow. Yeah. So basically, it solves all kinds of like prototyping problems where you don't have to wait for a specific designer, or like even if you want to give it to a designer, you can build something on your own and then tell that, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Like, can you come up with the designs accordingly?
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think so one other thing, right? So Anthropic actually released an project for computer use, which is you can have an agent which is using going to websites, scraping data, or working for you. So they have released a developer version of it. So essentially, if I want to use it, I have to build an application around it using the API. But what Replit enabled me to do is, so there is already a template which has computer use application in it. I just used the template and gave it an API key, and now I can use computer use in my laptop without even doing any writing a piece of code. So that's another use case.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, funny. So now I want to learn about your experience. So looks like you also used tried to build a website using a GenAI app. So what is it? Give us the details.
Yeah, sure. So I was listening to Lenny's podcast, and I think he had one of either a CPO or CEO of Lovable. So he had him on the podcast, and they were talking about how they built the product and all the journey that they went through. So when I heard about that, I never heard about this Lovable. So I'm like, okay, let me try and explore it. So this is what I did, right? Let me share my screen. So this is their website. Very simple. It's very similar to like a ChatGPT website or a page or something like that. So let's say if you want to create a website, so you can go simple and say that, hey, create a website for my podcast, everything product. It's hosted by 3 people. It has over 100 episodes. And okay, let's start here, right? So and let's say if I click enter, we were looking at Replit, right? Replit is much more developer friendly, but this one is very generic. I'm sure it's doing all the things that Replit is doing in the background, but I love this because it was like comparatively faster, easy to understand.
One eternity later.
Actually, creating a newsletter component too. So it's assuming that the podcast also has a newsletter with it. So and another feature, funny, you can actually export all of the projects or apps which you created in Replit, and essentially you can start working on that. So all of the folder structure still exists. Cool. I like the UI better.
No preview deploy found on the project. Why? How do I do that now? Maybe okay. Maybe it was just deploying at that time. Wow.
I like the UI. This, yeah, this is really, really good.
And it gave all the sections. See, so as soon as you come, it's giving a description. Listen to the latest episode. See all the episodes. Okay, the clicks won't work yet. Okay.
I think all of that
It gives,
still are features which you still want to develop, right?
and it also built this thing in the bottom where you can just play the episode. Wow.
I think this is a very well matured, built out compared to Replit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
See,
this.
I told it has 3 hosts. So it gave things about the hosts. About, yeah, this is also nice. So it gives,
I even love the images which it picked,
yep.
and you can actually subscribe to. So maybe we should just build on this and create a website for everything products. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I wanted to ask this, right? Can you go to YouTube
Yeah.
and pull all of our existing episodes?
And as it's doing this, can you click on GitHub there? Funny. So does it take you to the folder? The
I haven't connected,
GitHub
so
project?
maybe I'll have to.
Oh, okay. So if you connected, maybe does it add you to a GitHub repository?
What is
I think so.
Superbase? Yeah. It might be letting us do that. Do you know what is Superbase? Connect to add authentication.
Oh, so this is more like a data store where you can connect to APIs, keys, and so on. Yeah, that's great.
And that makes sense, right? Because
Yeah.
if this is not there, what else can we do? It'll be a very static website.
And if you want to add a payment gateway and all, right, so I think you definitely need that functionality.
See this, I don't have direct access to YouTube, but you can set up an integration with YouTube's API to fetch the podcast episode.
So
I
that's
think
what.
similar to what Replit also
Thank
did.
you guys. Thank you for watching so far. If you have watched so far, I believe you liked our content. So please subscribe to our channel, Everything Product. And if you want us to experiment with new AI tools the same way which we did in this video, please let us know. And also mention what tool do you guys want us to explore in the comment section below. Thanks a lot.